Abeliabi Zomazibugwe www.africamyafrica.co.za is back for Xesibe People Part 2 as promised to you. Please do enjoy the video. There we go again. Yep, that's me, Africa Fikeni. This is Xesibe People Part 2 of the video as promised to you from Africa My Africa. This time we dig deeper into the people of Africa, the people of the South, the Xesibe people. Like we said before, if you're not an African, you are probably saying, what? How do you pronounce this? Please watch how to pronounce from the Xesibe People Part 1 video. Otherwise, listen to me here on video how I pronounce it continuously. Xesibe had more than 3 houses, in other words wives, which bore different sons and daughters. Illustrated here only is the houses of chieftainship lineages and merits of his sons. Minor houses are intentionally omitted from these writing and tables shown, simply because this video will be too bulky if they were included. The questions you might ask: who and where are Xesibes today? What has been their mark in South African historical moments? We've answered part of these questions in our previous video, part 1 already. If in this case we start around year 1500, where Xesibe begets Njanya, then Njanya has many sons including Xesibe. You can tell there that he had brothers Mbondo and Bonomise, who were born from Njanya, whose son was also born Nyambos and everybody else. This is now around 15 and 1600 years ago. Let's talk about year 1600, Xesibe way of life and decision making. You can see from the chart there that if we start from the original Kubela, who begets Kuboni, Mkebelezane, Hlozela to Sibeside, you can see the way Bondo and Bondomise, the twins, where Bondomise is the older twin was born, and Xesibe as Infosi, born after the twins and Nyambose. This is around year 1600 as they moved down south of Africa. In Xesibe's great house, which is the superior house, the superior wife, Xesibe begets Ndozabando. In his right house there is a son Mkwenkwe born. In the left house a son Mganu is born. You can see the lineages in there. Again, we're only showing the sons that had a lot of marking and birth down in South African history. After the death of the founder of the Xesibes dispersed into family groups and established themselves under different Xesibe chiefdoms into the then Natal and further southeastern regions of South Africa. Prominent leaders that formed chiefdoms were his sons Dozabantu, Ganu, Kwenkwe, Nele, and others about 350 years ago. These are around the years 16 to 1800. Dozabantu migrated southwest of South Africa and settled in the areas between Libode, Neleni, and Mthatha, with greater concentration in the Mkanduli area of OR Tambo today. Nele is believed to have remained in the Natal area and subsequently absorbed into the Zulu nation during the later Shaka Zulu invasion wars. The sons further moved south of South Africa, and finally, Snama and Ngonza, sons of Mganu, settled in the region between Tina River and Mzimkhulu regions. Mbingwe and Ngwega, who were direct descendants of Xesibe, joined the Pondos. After wandering further south over the Tina River, they joined under the chiefs Siyoyo and the Delwa respectively. This is now around the years 17 to 1800. And so were the other Xesibe sons dispersing later on in life. Let me put it this way to you. Dispersing was a phenomenon of growth, search of greener grazing pastures. Also expanding family was a way to gain land for protection, some sort of security formation so that you can have bigger land and deploy your sons in different strategic areas. also individual independence respectively. Main Xesibe known groups in the southern Africa are as follows: Nonzaba, Mganu, who begets Snama, Nonza. We have the Tunzis, we have the Kwatis, we have Mbatane, we have Nune, we have Mele, we have Nkuma. All these are main Xesibe groups. Some of those are not pointed in there because we have the Ombatanes in there that are not showing in there. Not that they don't fall as main groups. However, for the purpose of this documentary, we don't put as much as possible. Now I'm showing you pictures of the gatherings in photos of what we've had as the Xesibes around the country. These were the chief installations. Chief Mtwa in Kandoli was inaugurated there. We have also Chief Stokwe was put up in Kala Lady Fre. You can tell as well when we had a gathering in South Coast in Bizana, we have the Xesibe there who is Klomla Dandala, the actor. We also have Chief Dalasile who attended in Kala the inauguration, one of his junior chiefs. Also we have the Chief Fikeni Gaslama in Mount Elif. We attended a Ndabangolo function. We also have a Xesibes enjoying a trip to Imbizo in Poshepstein in Bizana. This time they were on their way back. Xesibe people showcases also the gatherings in photos, as you can see all Mama dancing in the Imbizos that we had gathered. You can show and tell there that, you know, this is a lot of jubilation. People have a lot of fun in these places, and the Xesibas pride themselves that they do indeed exist and deserve the recognition that they should have. You can see there that this is a Xesibe marriage, a wedding function, that the son, the boy that marries, dresses like that, and the Gauteng Executive Committee steering to put up a proper structure for the Xesibe Heritage Association of Southern Africa. You also see in the Imbizos the people that attend. This time here we elected the executive of the Xesibe Heritage Association of Southern Africa. You can see there we have the Ukinebe there, the advocate Mangotwa in there, who is a cousin to the Xesibes. You also have the MECs there. We have the Kayas there, who are prominent figures in the communities of South African business and economics. We also have people that spoke in there. This slide here also commemorates the late Xesibe, who actually passed away shortly after this function that we had. You also have the prominent Xesibes in the economy. The former chief economist Mnyande, who retired in Ngobo. We also have the Reverend Dandala, the Bishop Dandala, who's a Buku Xesibe. We have the Reverend Kundu in there, who also passed on. We have the MEC there, Mrs. Janki in Bisho, Eastern Cape. We have the Figile Kaya, there was the MEC as well. God Xesibe, these people, they are the prominent people. We have the Secretary General of the ANC, Ikwati, Elili Xesibe, attending inauguration. We also have the Chief Fikeni, the Abachana Chief of the Pondus. Also, we have also in gathering photos the Jojo people that attend inauguration, who are in the chieftainship of the Xesibes, and of course the Lieutenant Colonel Kundu of the South African Defence Force attending in there in photos. These people mark the historical moments of South Africa. These include the great anti-colonial wars of 1880 to 1881 under the charge of Dalasile in the Ngobo region and Stokwe Kandlela in the Lady Fred Kala areas. The Koti also killed Xesibe, the king of Xhosa of the western region, during a battle. The much feared Madzikane, the Baka leader, also fell to the spears of Makati in the Kukini forest near Ngobo. The wars that Snama fought with the Mbondos and surrounding groups also made him a legend of his time. which is Usnama. But it was Snama's son Nogula who became the army general of the Xesibe warriors who fought so many battles, including the one against Shaka, where the Xesibe joined forces with the Bacas of Matsikane on the Nonge mountain near Mount Aleph. Shaka forces suffered a humiliating defeat, and many of his warriors died in this battle, and the mountain was renamed Intsizo Mountain to mark this historic event of the defeat of the Shaka Zulu people. You talk of Amakwati a lot. The Secretary General of ANC is a Kwati Xesibe. Kwati is the name of a bull that had mystical spiritual significances among the Xesibe of Noni and the son of Hlabe Kanonzaba. The Tembu people in their encounter with the Xesibe started calling them by the name of this bull, which was always in their company whenever they went. Hence the name Amakwati. You can tell this painted picture. This is how it will be seen amongst the Kwati people each time they travel. A sample of Xesibe groups and clans of Indigenous Praises is Itugones Bongo are listed in there. You have the Ononzaba, who you see mostly being called Machaya. The Ngonzas, Balaweka, Kubud. We have Amakwati or Blanc among Xesibe, where you go on when you do the appraisal as Bongo. Vangevu, Ama Blanc Amyama Nenkomoza. Amakwati Ostindi, Konja Nemyama Edale Mafi, Kwatili Myama Ela Podlos Ihlati Lifono Zanzolo. These are the Zitigos and the Indigenous appraisals of the Xesibe people. Oh no, Namakwati. Tigela Lojima, Zoeba, Kwatili Myama Ela Podlos Ihlati Lifono Zanzolo. Eli Mesham Benjem Kukwesilo. Natalala, Kapula. Namtana vazi nomatya amanune odoyi omachaya ombathana. We have amakoma amaXesibe ombathane ononzaba omachaya. We have amaXesibe ondlova, who when they praise they say di wohlanga dlebe zikhanyelanga omkheleka. We have the Xesibe Zobugu, where Reverend Dandala comes from. Hlomla Dandala comes from. Singash, Kabanga, Fazobeleli, Elinganisa insana zonge na pesha kumfu. We have Osna Mocha to Somato. Oma line to meeting the Zega no bow nanko, Machina Pega Jangumdua. Onzak, Amia, Bim, Nota. I'm an African, a South African. I will quote a few passages from our former President Thabo Mbeki's speech, the famous authentic speech, I'm an African. It made me proud then and inspired me to come this far to create Africa, my Africa. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native land. I am the grandchild of the warrior men and women, Daddy Yinza and Sekukune led, the patriots that Tetwayo, the people, took to battle. The soldiers Mshweshwe and Ngungunyane taught never to dishonor the cause of freedom. My mind and my knowledge of myself is formed by the victories that are the jewels in our African crown. The victories we earned from Isandlwana to Khartoum, as Ethiopians and as Ashanti of Ghana, as the Berbers of the desert. Being part of all these people, and in the acknowledge that none dare contest their assertion, I shall claim that I'm an African. I'm born of the peoples of the continent of Africa. End quote. That was Ntumbe's speech, just a few. It's attached on my website. You'll find it there. I then tell you and the rest of the world in my own Xesibe language that Ndingu Afrika kafikile, a grandson of Umjoli Kasnam, whose son Unogula became the army general of the Xesibe warriors, who fought many battles in the East Crickland. Ukhat, Somadon, Maya, Bubalayelwa intombi Tindizele, nokuba awunanko. Umachine ibheka njengomntwana. Thoba lendlovu. Sabelo yebizwe emazibukweni. Thabo Mbeki mainly praised our African forefathers' warriors' traits, heroic and symbolic beliefs. Ukuzicela, ukuzitsho. I just told you about my own forefathers, of which I am a direct descendant of. Let me make you understand as follows. This is an African way of identifying oneself in salutations of his or her forefathers, whose names, traits, heroic and symbolic beliefs made them who they were. In our African culture, it is important to always respect and remember your roots, history, and sacrifices of your forebears whose shoulders upon you stand. Africa My Africa subscribes to MAFA Pan-African Studies. You can see the websites and the list in there. It is a study of the 500 years suffering of people of African heritage, including the present times. MAFA, a term used to describe the history and ongoing effects of atrocities inflicted on African people. Africa My Africa reiterates this notion that our ancestors remain trapped, having not had a spiritual burial. Their souls call for us to pursue justice for the crimes committed against them, so their souls may finally rest in peace. Unless we remember our ancestors, we walk without dignity and purpose, and remain unable to say never again. Until we say never again, Africa, people worldwide, will remain spiritual, culturally, and physically enslaved. People of the South, Xesibe people, but to ends here for now. Please subscribe here below on the Africa My Africa YouTube channel for free. Your email entered will strike our further communication with you. You can always add comments, like and rate this video as well. Next video will follow here soon. Targeted is a weekly release. It will show more Xesibe history closer to what you will really like to know about yourself or about the people of the South. You can search a title called People of the South Xesibe People Part 3 by Africa. Remember, to get notifications for these videos, please subscribe here below on the Africa My Africa YouTube channel. Please add comments, click a like button and rate this video as well. Watch for more on africamyafrica.co.za. Let me not forget that I'm thankful and give a lot of credit to the South African scholars, the British colonialists who wrote somehow fuzzy truth, the African writings and family who thoroughly researched to produce such excellent material, which I am now able to quote from and refer back to. And lastly, be able to share it with you, the rest of the world, and the people of Africa.